Hi folks, am I sure feeling restless today? Yeah, just gaining electricity in my body and a restlessness, and I'm not sure if that's to do with the full moon. Could be. Who knows really. It's also, I think, a build-up of everything that's been going on of late for myself, and I did a video on it. Just about many videos actually about how much is going on in today's world and on our own personal level and in regards to our own awareness and the light switching on, and that's what the light does. It switches on. It's able to see so much more, and it's overwhelming at times. Okay, but again, that light must be switched on in order for you to see and make your way successfully. Okay. And so it's hard again to find one's balance through it all and navigate through it all and keep up with it all, really. And what does it even mean to keep up with? It's at the same time, keeping up with is not a forcefulness. It's a lot of the time a letting go, a surrendering, which is the opposite of keeping up sometimes. It's a letting go and allowing and surrendering almost, and that's very difficult as well to do. And again, who's even got the time to do it? And how much time do we put aside in our day consciously to say, I'm going to have a half an hour, 45 minutes of just allowing and surrendering? Okay? I mean, we don't do that. Again, a lot of the time we speak about meditation and whatever it is from that degree, but I think a meditation can also be actually putting time aside to allow that which needs to come up and to surrender to it. Again, I'm going more like, I'm finding myself more so like dealing with practices of engaging more so than just observing. Okay, engaging with one's emotions than just simply witnessing, allowing the emotions, and not just emotions, but the thoughts as well. But to surrender, it's not, for example, let's say I'm feeling like, I know I've had a day of a lot of self-ridicule, and instead of just like watching that and being the observer, like I kind of go into that and I say, and I surrender to it. Okay, and that's actually for another talk, more so. But again, sometimes I feel like with meditation there's almost this like abstractness, there's almost like this separation between it's not an activity, almost an engaging activity, but that's another discussion. And there's, in other words, there's many different ways of meditation. Okay, but it's not, for myself, I often don't find the traditional sense of meditation of just sitting and observing my breath and whatever it is to be very useful. I must say, actually, I find prayer, which I seldomly do, more difficult to do than meditation. Sitting and praying, okay? The idea is beyond me, and it's for myself. It's not an easy thing to do. So, anyways, there's much to be said. But what is the topic of this talk? Is I'm not quite sure. It's that I did a video. It's about what to do about the parts of one's life that have been miserable, and how do you surrender to that? How do you let that go? And how do you size that up again to sometimes what it feels like to be, even in currently, like to just be a lot of the time unnecessary. A lot of the time, it's just we hang on to it. Like I hang on to it, and I'm begrudged by it, and I'm bittered by it, okay? And it's made me sad. It makes me sad often over the time, and it's a real challenge. It's a real challenge to just say what was, okay, and what is. It's very hard to do. It's very hard. It seems to be like an unfairness about it. It's like, it's not about blaming anybody, but it's just like, this did happen to me and I want to make sense of it. And not just letting sleeping dogs lie, hey, but I want to make sense of it because it matters to me and I owe it to myself to acknowledge how I feel. You see, this is very important. I think we bypass our emotions, okay, and overlook them by saying that again it's all part of the plan. Like you had to go through the shitter, you know. You're having to go through Shawshank Redemption, okay, in a way. And so what I'm saying is that, okay, fine, but from a human point of view, that's very hard to tolerate and accept when you're standing in a place where you want to be connected to all that is true and all that is beautiful and all that is divine. In other words, you have some bloody grudges to bear. And you have some bloody chips on your shoulders. And, well, why wouldn't you? Okay? And this is what I wanted to talk about, is wrestling with God. I was listening to a Jordan Peterson video. And, you know, and he was talking about Jacob wrestling with God. It's also understood that Jacob in the Bible was wrestling with an angel, but it's also understood that he was wrestling with God. And Jordan Peterson talks about this idea of wrestling with God, right? And that it's because it's not so cut and dry, it's not so all straight and forward, and you can, you know, bear your cross, you know, and carry it and accept that which has happened, you know, just instantaneously, and just show much appreciation to all that which has been so difficult and compromising and unfair, what seems unfair in your life and whatnot. So this idea of wrestling, you know, and the importance of wrestling with God. Okay, Jacob's name was changed to Israel, and apparently the word Israel is he who wrestles with God. Okay, and funnily enough, he named the place, Jacob named the place, I'm reading here of Wikipedia, Peniel, or Peniel, okay. It says over here, Jacob then names the place where they wrestled Peniel. So what does it sound like? Pineal gland. Okay? So that's just interesting, which I don't know what that means. But I want to just give you a little brief story. It's a bit heavy on my heart today. I have my sister. She's 5 years younger than me. And she's somewhat impaired. She has she's in her 30s, okay? And she'll never get married, and she'll never have children. She'll never have a driver's license. Her reading is probably at a 10-year-old, 12-year-old level. Her, intellectual level is on a 8-year-old level or something like that. She's not disabled. She's not also, what do you call it? She's not Down syndrome or anything like that. If you look at her, you can see that she's different, okay? And again, she'll never hold down a job, and she'll never, like a proper job, she won't be able to. She'll always need someone to look after her, okay? And at the same time, she's a lovely, lovely individual. She has no judgments on people. She is so innocent, and it's so beautiful. It's just, she's so innocent. And she's, again, non-judgmental, and she's so open-hearted, and she has her days, of course, and whatever it is, but anyways, and she has these birds, these budgies, and she had 6 of them, and for her, they're like her children. She's mommy to them, okay? And she has a language with these budgies, there's no question about it. I mean, they see her and they recognize her. It's amazing to see this. It's beautiful. It just breaks your heart in the nicest ways to actually see the relationship that she has. The budgies have a relationship with her. This warmth that they have towards her. I mean, it's just incredible. It's just marvelous to see. And anyway, so she went overseas for a week or so, and before she left, her one budgie, Snoopy, okay, was not well. Now, she was the only one that could see Snoopy was not well. It's her favourite budgie. She could see it wasn't well. And so when she left to go overseas to Australia, she mentioned to the person who was going to take care of her birds that Snoopy doesn't look well, just keep an eye on him. Anyways, Snoopy got worse. And they took it out to the vet, whatever it was, and Snoopy eventually died. Now, we couldn't tell my sister this while she was overseas in Australia because you're not sure how she would handle it. And anyways, on her cell phone, let's just say for her Facebook, whatever it was, she uploaded a photo of her bird on Facebook. It was on WhatsApp. It was one of these social media things. And she just said, "My baby bird, I'm missing you like you can't believe." You know, the bird is already dead, okay? "I'm missing like you can't believe. Don't worry, mommy's going to come home and make you feel better, you know, and be okay." And I'm sure she feels really that she could heal this bird, and she probably could, you know. Anyways, so sometimes, folks, I'm just saying a sideline, sometimes with my videos is that I don't get into the deepest metaphors and analogies, and I think I should. You know, I should get more technical, more philosophical, more, you know, and then I just realize it's not what it's about. It's, you know, like, I could be going into the Bible, the Old Testament, New Testament, Psalms, or whatever it is, and just talking about wrestling with God. I could talk about the psyche or the shadow or the underworld and what's it, you know, like, which sometimes I do, but sometimes I feel, and I'm not going to give myself a hard time about it. I'm going to talk on a very simple level, and it's very profound and beautiful at the same time. Anyway, so coming back, I mean, this is what I'm talking about, is that the budgie died, and so she came home today to find out that the budgie was dead. And I think, and this is her favourite budgie, and I think to myself, what's going on here? I mean, what for? Why her favourite budgie? Like, why? You know? And, like, the budgie was 4 years old. These budgies live till 10 years old. And these budgies are taken, they have the best care that any budgie can possibly ever have, I'd like to think. They have so much love and care and attention and, you know, and it's her favourite budgie. You know, I'm not sure how she's taken it, but for myself, I look at that and I'm frustrated with that. I'm frustrated, and yes, I know this is no Holocaust. This is no, genocide or anything like that. This is something so small. This is not a child abuse or this, you know. It doesn't have to be that. It doesn't have to be like that. It doesn't have to be something traumatic. It has to be something as simple as this, where one questions the meaning behind such an event. And yes, we could analyze and say, well, the budgie died, so I could do this talk, so maybe 100 people, not even, maybe 30 people could hear this talk and it can mean something. Yes, fine, we can rationalize it and justify it as much as we can. But on the surface level of things, you know, this is hard to understand. And yes, we can say, well, there's much bigger things going on in the world, there's much further injustice, which there is. But even for my sister, this is like, you know, the world's end for a moment, for a day, for a week maybe, right? And so why? And these are things that we don't necessarily understand. And so we have our grievances. Let me see how much time I've been yapping for. So we have our grievances. And what do we do with those grievances? Like, what do we do? Okay? Because it's like, I have a bone to pick with God, don't I? So, well, who on earth do you think you are to have a bone to pick with God? Who do you think you are? And then all of a sudden I say, okay, fine. If I don't have a bone to pick with God, I'm just saying God, whatever it is. And what do? Then I just suppress it and say, well, thank you, okay. You all have a plan, whatever it is. Blah. You see, now I'm fine. Now I'm sounding like I'm being, you know, profanity and whatever it is. And that's my point, folks, is that we're supposed to wrestle. It's just like, as Jordan Peterson mentions in his relationship with his wife in this video, he says that he doesn't want a wife that's going to throw petals in front of his feet every day when he walks. He wants a wife that's going to challenge him, you know, and then they can have conversation, and then they can work things out and whatever it is, and they can build a relationship. And so sometimes it's like a game. You know, I once heard the story, and I'm going to botch it up completely, but it was the story of a man. All that he had was a cow. You know, no roof over his head, nothing. Just had a cow, and he prayed to God for. Okay, I'm going to get the story wrong. I don't even know why I'm saying it, but for a house, for food or something or other. And then there was a king who had lots of luxuries, cows, horses, women, castles, mansions. And so they're both praying to God for more. And what God does is he strikes down the poor man's cow with a lightning bolt and kills the cow. And then okay, it's a metaphor obviously. Then the emperor who's got all of this gives him tenfold. And so I'm messing up the story, but the idea was, so the angels come to God and say, what did you do there? My man, what did you do there? And it's like, well, the only thing that was really standing between myself and the poor man was the cow. And as soon as I took the cow away, all that he had was me, right? And I'm so selfish in a way that I'm so wanting to have a relationship. Not selfish, I can't remember the words, but I wanted to have the closeness of that relationship. Which again is a metaphor, so it's a bad analogy. It says, and the man that has everything, well, I give him everything because we're never going to really have a relationship. He doesn't want to have a relationship. Okay? He's obsessed with all of these things. So again, it's a bad analogy, but that's what I'm saying, is that to be involved in a relationship, it needs to be challenging you. And you're going to have gripes about it. It's not going to be all sweet daisies and whatever it is, and fresh croissants or something or other. It's going to be moldy, rotten apples at times. It's going to be, Let me start this, folks. I do that for some who don't know. I have a 20-minute limit on this old camera of mine, and I'm never sure how close I am to the finish line of the 20 minutes, and then it'll just switch off and erase the video. So just to be safe, make more work for myself in the editing process as well. But nonetheless, so the thing is that, again, to be in a relationship that has a lot of challenges and has ups and downs. And that's why I'm not somebody who is really of the mindset that one can really just swallow the concept that everything happens for a reason and everything is beautiful and everything is fine and dandy. Yes, maybe from a higher perspective, but if you go that high, you're ignoring your own emotions and experiences and what's happening for you down on planet Earth in the flesh. So, what I'm saying is that, it sounds so disrespectful. And who dare you have a bone to pick with God? But, isn't that the case? And that's maybe not being disrespectful or dishonorable or unappreciative, right? It's just saying, look, I don't understand certain things. And my emotions, to understand my emotions or what I'm feeling or to feel better, I need to address this. I need to address this. I need to question this. I need to make sense of this, if I can. And I might as well damn well have the right to try. And not just say, well, it's part of the divine plan, you need the duality of things, whatever it is. Okay? That can help. But sometimes, again, it's just the child. It's just the child inside that needs more of an explanation, needs more of an understanding, needs more of a fight for what's taken place, okay, or what is taking place, or what's gone on, right? There needs to be fiery emotions, controlled obviously, but anger. It sounds terrible, okay, but I know if I was a father, I'm not a father, to my child, and I not necessarily did an injustice to my child, but maybe I needed to do something out of tough love to my child. Right? And the child didn't understand. I can't think of an example now. I don't know, maybe... But you just make up an example in your own way. The child wanted to do something and I didn't let the child do it, and the child feels like I'm being selfish, but it really is for the child's own good, but the child can't see it at the child level, at the innocence of the child and at the capabilities of the child. So the child, my child says, I don't understand why you did that, and I want my child to ask me that. I wouldn't want to say, listen, I'm your father and you don't question me, don't test me, and don't have a sad face because I said so. So I'm going to do this, and whatever it is, and I just want you to accept it. Okay? And I want you to smile about it. Even though inside you're feeling like I'm betraying you, I'm dishonoring you, whatever it is. I'm saying sometimes maybe that's the case, but sometimes there will be challenges when the child says, no, I want you to explain this. I want you to help me understand why you're doing this. Okay? Even though I love you, is a child saying to my father, let's say hypothetically, I love you, Dad, and I know that you want the best for me. Okay? But I need to understand this for myself. And at least let me try. And if I can't, then I'll go on the fact that maybe one day I will. But help me understand. Help me know. Okay? Help me learn. Teach me. Teach me. And that's what I'm saying, is that if we challenge and wrestle with God in that way, and we demand answers, maybe through the demanding of the answers, in the prayer of asking for answers, for justifications, that the signs will come, that the answers will come in subtle ways. Thank heavens, in subtle ways the answers will come. And that way, right, because of your quest, because of your questioning, curiosity, not just your curiosity, because of your need, you actually perhaps you see a reason coming forth. Maybe it's just an inspirational thing that you're inspired by the event and you realize, oh wow, that happened because of this, or whatever it is, the answers, or whatever it is. And you see ultimately that it's how it worked out, and it's not just, because X happened, Y happened, and then, it justified it all. It's not that way. I don't know. We're just wrestling here through the flesh, the spirit through the flesh, in a way. I don't know, this is very tricky. And I'm just thinking this through, really. I'm just thinking this through. Because I'm really sincere about honouring one's hard times, one's difficulties, one's pains. And obviously, the opposite of that as well. To be honestly truthful, and say. Like, I know I've had my brother, this guy that's bullied me most of my life. Made my life at times a living nightmare. And I know that it's been necessary. I've had mushroom experiences where I felt so much love for my brother for teaching me things, and giving me the opportunity. But then again, at the same time, I also got to put up boundaries. I can't just be like, okay, use and abuse me, man, because I want to see what happens and I want to learn from this. No, it's obviously not much sense. But in the mushroom experience, I could see and I had so much love. But also in my day-to-day experience, I got much grief and gripe with him, and I don't want much to do with him because he hurts me terribly. And so part of my lesson is the fact that I've got to remove myself from him. But a part of me is also feels so wounded, and one day, maybe I won't feel that wounded, but there's still parts of me that need to heal, and I don't begrudge the universe about that. Sometimes I feel like I could have had maybe a nicer brother. Wouldn't it have been nice to have actually had a supportive brother or a loving brother? But that's not the case, okay? But that's not the case. But besides for all of this, my point being, because this can go on for days, this conversation, and I just want to kind of, bring out one or two points that we can maybe work with here, and feel a little bit of relief in not feeling guilty when we can't understand things and we have a bone to pick with God or the divine, however you want to see it, the universe, right? That it just doesn't leave us like, oh, just shut up, child, because you don't know what you don't know what's good for you, so just keep quiet. You don't know what's going on here, so just shut up. That's what it was for me, growing up in religious school, in Jewish day school. It's like I had questions, shut up, you don't have to know those answers. So firstly, on the one hand, so we can feel free to wrestle with God. We can feel free to grow up with it, to honour ourselves, to respect ourselves. Not to just see this all high and mighty figure, not that we see it or we feel it. It's like, well, I must just take whatever comes to me and keep quiet. And yes, it's like that teacher that just like walks around and just whacks you with a ruler for no reason. You're like, okay, I'll just be quiet and I'll just be good and I won't speak up and I won't stand up for myself or anything like that. So it gives us a little bit of power, gives us a little bit of like, hold on a minute, wait a minute, type of thing. We don't just go down without a fight, in a sense, without a wrestle. And a wrestle is when I understand this. Damn it. Okay. And so it's just those few points. And then again, to honor you the way that you're feeling. I just see people, like, especially in the religious communities where I come from, and in life, and just say, well, trust in God that all is fine, and whatever's happened has happened for the good, and your life has been the way that it is, and don't grow up about it, just appreciate it. That's just, this sort of bypassing of everything and this umbrella of appreciation for all things. And I say that doesn't work all the time. There needs to be a balance. And so again, it's coming down and respecting it, and seeing it for what it is. So for myself, I don't deny my hardships. Don't deny the suffering. Don't deny it. Don't dishonor it, And so it was a recipe for my becoming and for my connectedness to true being. Yes, that's true, and I don't mean to be sarcastic about that. But I mean to really honor it and wear it, not as it wears you down, but wear it as a badge of honor. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, wear it. Damn it, man, this is like such an important point in my life. It's like what you've been through. The pains that you've been through. It's not about, I just hope the battery's not going to conk out on this thing now. I'm still good. Rapping away here. So, like, what was I saying? To wear it, not as a victim, damn it, not to be victimized. Not to be victimized, but as to show what a soldier you are, as what a warrior you are. Your warrior scars, damn it, your warrior scars. We just don't want to identify with those warrior scars. Okay, we don't want to identify with them because they remind us of something that we probably just haven't. We just want to disconnect from ourselves. This is really vital and very important. How much we want to disown our own suffering. I'm not saying currently now. Okay, that's what most people are doing. I'm not talking about that. But I'm saying that the suffering that you've been through and the challenge that you've been through and that you've come this far, that really you should have them in your heart. I really feel that. You should, as medals, as a medal, as a prize almost. This is what I've been through. Right? Because this is who I am in response to all of that. So I can wear it proudly. Like, damn it, bloody hell, I've had a hard life. What's wrong with that? So, you're so privileged. You were born in with electricity and with medical health and whatever it is, into two parents. So what do you have to complain about? You had a roof over your head when it was winter. You had an electric blanket. While people on the streets, born on the streets, whatever it is, born with diseases. Who the hell are you to come and whine and complain and bitch and moan? And who are you? And that's terrible. You didn't go through any world wars. You weren't molested as a child. Who do you? You were born in. I was born in a third world country. But who are you to grow up? Who gives you the say? And that's the big problem. That's a huge problem. Because you can't compare it. You can't compare it at all. And see, people say, well, you weren't born blind. We didn't lose your sight, whatever. So anything can happen from now onwards. But like so far, you've had it pretty darn good, my man. You had it pretty darn good. So do me a favor, okay? But besides for that, because that's bullcrap, okay? None of us have it good. Any soul that comes to this planet that wishes to be conscious and is sensitive doesn't have it good. Not even the Buddha had it good, okay? Born into a paradise, basically, didn't have it good. All right, Truman Burbank, born into the Truman Show, didn't have it good, okay? From other point of view, people say, oh, he had it brilliantly, but he didn't have it good. Okay, so you come into this life and most of it is not good. Okay, and it's not supposed to be good. Again, it's not supposed to be good. It's just the way that it is. It's set up the way that it is. And so again, coming back is that it's to honourably say, oh, my life has been a bitch at times. It really has been. It has been unforgiving at times, and it's been like traumatizing at times. And I don't dwell on that. Again, I don't dwell on that, and that it makes me feel sullen all the time and despaired and just like depressed. And I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying it's fuel. It's made into fuel for my passion to continue living and to honor who I've become through all of that. That's passion. That's real love. You know, that's real. That's like, I mean, through your bloody suffering, through how you've been raked over the coals, how you've lived so desperately at times, and to have that by your side, so that you've known how bloody far you've come and how far you've travelled, and who you have become through all of that, to absolutely honour that. To absolutely honour that, and not disassociate from that. And again, not to be identified by it. I'm saying it as a fuel. Let it be a fuel to burn your fire brightly. It's not an identification. It's not like, oh, you know what happened to me, and it should have happened. I'm not talking about that. I'm saying this did happen to me, and it was brutal. And these things are happening to me, and it is brutal. And it is heart-wrenching. How much time have we been going on here for? Got to start ending off, jeez. Yeah. So turning the pain into a passion, that's what I'm saying. Turning the suffering into a passion of and a fire of your existence and of your life. And that way you know that through all the still challenges and that all that surrounds you every day, right? Everything. I'm saying that really, and still you're still going to face, right? That you do so in a warrior style because of what you've been through. You know how strong you are. So I've said a lot here, folks, and I hope it's made a bit of sense. But I'm running out of time, and if you made it this far, I really, really appreciate it. I hope there's been something in this for you. You know, and it's been worthwhile, because that's so important. I don't want to be wasting your time with these talks of mine. I seriously don't want to be doing that. Alright, so with that, God bless, be well, be strong, and be good to yourself. Take care.